You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Friday the 6th of March, 2026. It is 75 days after the winter solstice. It is 14 days before the spring equinox. Today is the 7th day of the American and Israeli war against Iran. The sun rises today at 6:22 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:07 p.m. The sun sets today at 5:53 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 6:20 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 6:52 p.m. The length of daytime today is 2 minutes 41 seconds longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waning gibbous phase and is 89% full at midday. The moon sets today at 7:32 a.m., and then it rises again at 9:33 p.m. The third quarter will arrive on Wednesday, the 11th of March. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the morning, low tide, 5:52 a.m., minus 6 centimeters. Near midday, high tide, 12:09 p.m., 1 meter 37. In the evening, low tide, 6:03 p.m., 0 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, a circle of black and white feathers about 1.5 feet wide peacefully sits in the pine needles under a large eastern white pine, the sign of a kill. They lie just next to a large euonymus bush, too protected to be the work of a falcon or a hawk, so perhaps the work of a feral cat. No carcass remains, just the shattered remnants of the bird's feathers. Nature red in tooth and claw, right in our own backyard. Commemorations. Here is an interesting tidbit of history. On this day in 1776, the New York Provincial Congress ordered the dismantling of the lighthouse on Sandy Hook at the entrance to the harbor. It had been built in just 1761 with money raised by merchants in New York City. With the threat of the British landing their expeditionary force on Staten Island and taking the city as the Revolutionary War got underway, it was imperative to render the lighthouse inoperable. Major William Malcolm removed the lights and reflectors. The British did land, however, and did occupy New York, and in short order restored the Sandy Hook Lighthouse to functionality. It still stands, the oldest working lighthouse in the nation. On this day in 1836, the Alamo fell to General Santa Anna's Mexican forces. James Bowie, William Travis, and Davy Crockett all died in the battle. Remember the Alamo became a rallying cry for Sam Houston's troops, who would later prevail over Santa Anna and take Texas from Mexico. A somber anniversary. On this day in 1857, the Supreme Court issued its decision in the case of Dred Scott versus Sanford. It ruled that black people could not claim citizenship in the United States. It would take the Civil War and the passage of the 14th Amendment to correct the wrong and guarantee birthright citizenship. On this day in 1912, the first Oreo cookies were sold. They were created by the National Biscuit Company, now known as Nabisco, and were first produced at their factory in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan. The original factory building is now part of the Chelsea Market on 9th Avenue between 15th and 16th. The first Oreos were put on offer at a grocery store in Hoboken. Happy anniversary to the Oreo. On this day in 1970, a faction of the Weather Underground blew up the row house at 18 West 11th Street in Greenwich Village. The Weather Underground were a radical splinter group from the civil rights movement organization Students for a Democratic Society. Disavowing the gradualism of the SDS, the Marxist Weathermen sought violent revolution. On 11th Street, they were making bombs in the basement when an explosion ensued. 4 members of the group were killed, 2 fled the scene. You can see the house to this day, rebuilt in a modernist reinterpretation, and consider the fevered dreams of revolutionaries of the past. We leave you today with a thought from the Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh on the importance of staying calm in perilous times. He wrote this: When the crowded Vietnamese refugee boats met with storms or pirates, if everyone panicked, all would be lost. But if even one person on the boat remained calm and centered, it was enough. It showed the way for everyone to survive. And that is the Observatory, Friday the 6th of March, 2026.